Yeah, so I can show you how I did it on mine real quick. Basically, I put mine on the support on the subframe, and I got 3 points of safety because I also have the jack on the subframe too. So if these fail or go anywhere, I have a backup. And I also have a 4th line of safety because when I take this tire off, you always put it up underneath the car, behind the wheel, where the wheel goes, up behind underneath the passenger side door there, or the driver's side door, whichever side I'm working on. But today I'm working on the passenger side. So I take and basically put the wheel behind there. So I will show you guys that here in just a second. Okay, so now I got the wheel off, and as I said, I put the wheel there just in case the jack stands fail. Okay, so now what we're looking at, even though this tie rod isn't bad per se, oh well, the boot is kind of shot on it. Okay, so yeah, I didn't see that the other day, but I guess the boot is shot on this one too. So it's a good, as you can see, the boot is gone. So, and as you can see, that's a rusted mess. So instead of messing with it and playing games, okay, now what you're gonna have to do when you take this off, there is a 17mm bolt. It's a castle nut, and it's right there, down in there, if you can see it. Yeah, there's a castle nut with a cotter pin. You're gonna want to take that cotter pin out, okay? But first of all, you're gonna want to break that jam nut loose right here, okay? Now, it's very important that you just break it loose. You do not continue to spin it once you have it broken. This is very important because this is your wheel alignment you're talking about here. And if you move this jam nut too far and you don't realize how far you moved it, you're gonna throw your wheel alignment off. So what I do is I break it loose, and then I put a little zip tie behind it so it won't go any further back. So I'm gonna pause it for a minute, and actually I'm gonna show you how to use this torch the proper way. So just give me a second to set the torch up. Be right back. Okay, so now I want to stress, when you're using this torch, stay away from anything rubber, anything plastic that you could melt. You want to only put the heat on the nut. Okay? It's on the nut, like that. Notice how I'm not getting it anywhere near the boot. I'm just heating up the nut. That's what you want to do. You want to just heat that nut up so it expands, so that way you can break this loose without using a bunch of penetrating fluid and sitting out here busting your knuckles up. Okay, I ain't got all day to wait on this, so I'm using the torch like I did yesterday, because I knew yesterday it was a pain in the butt. I couldn't get it off, so I torched it. It's an old redneck trick. It works. Okay, and you know, you gotta not quit. Things get tough, and look, I don't have the right size wrench for this, but I got a crescent wrench, and I know if I heat this up good enough, I could break it loose. So that's what I'm doing. So give me a minute and I'll show you what I got done here after it gets heated up. Show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna heat this up really good, keeping it away from anything plastic, anything rubber. You just want to keep it on that nut, that heat on that nut. That's it. That's all you want to do. Okay? Now, I got it heated up a little bit. I got to get my crescent wrench here. I had it just a second ago. Don't know what the hell I did with it. Hold on a second. Yep, here we go. Got my crescent wrench. So now, we are going to take... put my crescent wrench on there. give it a whack. If you can't give it a good whack with your hand, break out the hammer. So I gotta get a hammer. All else fails, hammer it. I don't have my hammer here. All right, so 1 second, guys. Okay, now we've broken this loose. Okay, I'm gonna show you that it's broken loose. Okay, I had to use a crescent wrench. This is really redneck here, but it's broken loose. But I want to keep it a little bit tight. Okay, see, it's broken loose, but I want to keep it tight. Okay, and I'm gonna put a little zip tie right there. So hold on a second. Okay, so back to the video, guys. Sorry about that. Well, anyways, I got this broken loose. I had to wound up taking the caliper bracket off. Okay, it's two 17mm bolts. So really, all you're gonna need for this whole job is a 17mm, and that's about it. I mean, really, maybe a hammer, 17mm wrench, you know, maybe, because I used the 3/8 ratchet there for a minute. Okay, so now I'm getting this off of here, this castle nut. Okay, and once I get that off of here, and the one thing I can tell you guys, always have the right tool for the job. You know, if you need a tool, ask a buddy, maybe they got it, you know, if you don't have it. But don't try to use the wrong tools for the wrong job. You'll spend more time killing yourself trying to. Now you're gonna ask, should we beat this off at the stud? No. What we're gonna do is give it a couple whacks here. This is strong cast iron, guys. It can take it. There it goes. Now it popped out. Now what we're gonna do is once we get this off, okay, now we're gonna count the threads as we're taking it off. Okay, so we got 1 straight up in the air, 2 straight up in the air. That post needs to be straight up in the air. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 12 and a half. Okay, now as you can see, now that we got this off here, that whole boot is split. This is a safety issue. You should always want to replace it when it happens. Don't wait on it. Okay, now I need to go to the trunk of my car and get the other part. Now, before you throw the part on, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to line it up, hold it up to the other one. That way you can check to see if the parts match. If they don't match, take them back. Okay? If they do match, then you got the right part. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take it out the box. Okay? Now, if you want, this is for a Hyundai 2011 Hyundai GLS 2.4 liter. Okay, if you need the part number for this particular vehicle, I can provide that for you. Okay, now we're gonna look at this and see how it's a perfect match. It's a perfect match. So we're gonna go ahead, put it on our inner tie rod end, which is what this is called. Okay. And we're just gonna do the reverse process. Okay, we're gonna start threading it on there. Get it threaded. Now on this one there's a Zerk fitting. So I'm gonna have to put grease in here when I get the car on the ground, okay? That's important. So I'm counting as I'm going here, okay? And 12, 11, 12 and a half. So I need to turn my wheels again, because obviously I don't got them turned far enough. Yeah, there we go. Pull it out a little bit if you got to. And you're gonna want to get the post in there. Okay, so now, once you get the post on there, you're gonna want to put your castle nut on there. Okay, and tighten it down. I don't have the actual torque specs on this, but if you want, I could look it up and put it in the description for you. But as I said, this is for a 2011 Hyundai Sonata 2.4 liter GLS. Okay, so now you're gonna want to tighten it down good, okay, because you don't want this to come off. And they supply you with a cotter pin. So what you're gonna want to do is, there's a hole